Hey friend, this is Eric from Miller Music, and when it comes to home recording, drums are probably the most difficult instrument to record, probably because you either have to be a really good drummer or know a really good drummer to record the parts, and B, because you need a lot of microphones to record a drum set properly. So what happens if you don't have either? In the video today, I want to talk about how to program your own drum parts so that they sound realistic and really good. Let's jump in and talk about it. Hey, before we jump into the material, I just wanted to let you know that I have a brand new online community called the Miller Music Club, and this is a place for producers, songwriters, and guitarists to learn together, to share and collaborate their music. It's totally free to join. All you have to do is click the link in the description below, and you can join now. Okay, so the first step is to create your drum pattern or groove. In this project I have open here in Studio One, a student of mine came in and he has a little guitar part playing, and then up top we came up with a little drum pattern that goes along with it. So how we did that was you simply click or double click here to create a region, and then that opens up and it looks like this. And this is using the Impact XT. And if you click this little tab over here, this is the piano view, and then it goes, that's not very helpful when creating drum grooves, but if you click the little drum view up top, then you can actually see by clicking this, the impact, all of the different drums on the side, from the kick, the snare, your hi-hats, your toms. Most of your drum patterns are going to be starting based on where the kick and the snare and the cymbals, maybe the hi-hats or ride cymbal kind of is falling. And a lot of things are, when creating drum parts, are based on the kick being on 1 and 3 and the snare being on 2 and 4, what we call the backbeat. So let's give this a listen, so just so you can hear it. So pretty simple, just one guitar and then a little drum pattern. Now, how you create that little pattern is you go up top here and you can click on the little paint tool, and you can just click in wherever you see fit the drum groove just by clicking them in here. And if you don't like something, hover over it and you can actually erase it with the erase tool. So that's basically how we did it. One helpful thing is to see the quantize section up top. It'll create blocks by how you want it to quantize, whether it's eighth notes or 16th notes up top. So I have eighth notes selected here, and you can see sometimes the drums fall inside of that. That's because we have 16th notes, and you can even go as crazy as doing 32nd note triplets. That's going to be pretty challenging, but that's basically how you create it. Now, one helpful tip here is if you click on an individual note or drum, you can actually change the velocity down here. So it's set at a 80% default within Studio One, but you can bring it up or bring it down on an individual drum. So, as a drummer, we don't all play the same, each drum the same velocity or same volume. So you can kind of play around with that to get a feel and a velocity that you like and sounds like a real drum. Okay, so the next thing is that once you have your one measure drum groove selected that you like, you can actually duplicate it. So I'm just going to show you for demonstration. I just deleted these two, and if I want to highlight this, I just hit D, and it will actually duplicate that track for me. And then if I zoom out, you can see that literally for the entire song we have duplicated parts of the song, and then you can map out, labeling different sections within the arranger section up top, how you want each measure to go and each section of the song. So you can change, for example, the verse from the chorus like that. Okay, so now once you have your basic groove established, it's mapped out, you can go ahead and play around with different drum sounds. So I have this Tom Brecken, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, playing here. Let's stop that. If I want to choose a different set, you can go here. I mean, there's hundreds of different sounds you can go with. I've kind of found this that I like. and you can load those samples in this way. Another cool thing that's really neat is if, like, let's say you don't like the sound of the kick drum, you can go over to the loop section and then find a brand new kick drum sound. So let's check this one out. All right, so we have a vintage Gretsch kick drum. We can actually drag this into the kick, and then let's see what it sounds like now. So we got a brand new kick drum sound. Kind of cool. So you can really tailor, what kind of snare drum, what kind of kick drum sound you want, which is something that you couldn't do if you just dragged in a loop. Okay, so the second part now is going to be mixing your drums to make them sound good. So you can see over here on the mixing window, I have Impact XT open, and basically it automatically creates a different channel for each drum, which is one of the reasons I really like it. You can't do that if you have the Presence instrument, for example, open. It will just have one track for all of the drums. So this separates it out really nicely. And you can go ahead and turn down, if I want to crank the snare. All right, I can do that. Or you can mix to your taste each individual drum. You can even pan it here. So I have a little bit of panning on the toms to create more of a realistic feel here. Then you're going to go in and add any effects. So what I've done here is if you highlight all of the drums, I usually like to separate the kick drum, by the way, so I'll mix that separately. Right click on this and then click Add Bus for selected channel. It'll automatically create a bus channel for you, and that's what I have over here. It's all routed to bus 3. And then on here, I have a fat channel that I have just with a little bit of compression and EQ on, a little bit of room reverb, and then finally the Pro EQ, which I just took off a little bit of the low end so you can hear that. Now, if you want to hear it without the mix bus, let's listen to that. So this is no effects, back with effects. So it's subtle, it just makes it pop a little bit more. The hi-hats sizzle a little bit more. There's a little bit of reverb in there, a little bit of Pro EQ, doing a little bit of a low cut there. And that is pretty much it for the mixing. What I'll also do is throw a compressor onto the kick drum. So let's open that up. So here is my kick drum, and let's solo this out. What's really interesting about the kick here is you can see in yellow when the kick drum is being activated is if I change the release. Okay, so I'm making that a really long release. You can barely hear you're only hearing the thud of the kick drum. You're not hearing the actual boominess of the kick. If I make it a short release, you can hear more of that thud. So it's kind of cool. And I have the ratio set to about -20 and the threshold set to -20, and then the ratio set to 4 there. But you can kind of play around with that to compress that kick drum depending on the style of music that you're going to be doing. And that's it. So the first step is to create your pattern, and then the second step is to mix it. Hey, hope you found that helpful in terms of how to create your own drum parts and to mix them. Just a reminder to sign up for my new Miller Music Club. Click the link in the description below, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.